The Speaker comes from a political party, but when they are elected Speaker, they have to shed all political allegiance and forget that they were ever a member of that party. Yes, Parliament is transparent. It's sometimes more relevant than other times. And I think during the pandemic, that became a problem, which was that an awful lot of really important legislation and regulation went through hardly scrutinised at all. And I think the MPs are thinking, well, we mustn't ever let that happen again. It's absolutely vital. The Speaker comes from a political party, but when they are elected Speaker, they have to shed all political allegiance and forget that they were ever a member of that party. And we've enjoyed in recent years very strong speakers. They are hugely influential and can be very difficult for the government because they won't, if they don't let the government get away with. The Speaker is hugely important. Their impartiality is absolutely vital, and we've seen that in recent years in the way the Speaker has dealt with the government over the most difficult issues. I think that one of the most important sort of rule, it's actually a cultural thing, that MPs are expected to let opposition voices stand up, they sit down and they take difficult questions from the other side, and they are expected to do that. They don't have to do it, but it's very poor form not to do so, and that means you get a natural debate, backwards and forwards. And I suppose in pure procedural terms, I think the ability of members of Parliament, with the Speaker's help, to call government ministers to answer difficult questions on the day with almost no notice. It's called an urgent question. That's hugely important. Well, they're busy. It's set up confrontationally. It's benches facing each other, as you might see with Prime Minister's questions. So the Minister gets difficult questions. Interestingly, they get difficult questions from across the chamber, the opposition, but very often nowadays from their own side, behind. Very difficult questions, very uncomfortable, and so they're not quite sure which way to look for the next difficult question. It's exciting to watch. No, we form governments and parliaments very quickly. When a sitting Prime Minister and his or her party is rejected, they move out overnight, that night. The removal vans turn up in Downing Street, put all the furniture in and their belongings, and off they go. The Parliament forms within a few days. It's very important, and I think that is recognised by the Parliament. They don't like what the media does, they don't like the comments, and they sometimes think the comments that they get from the media are unfair. But there is a general understanding and consensus that free, independent media, some of which is impartial, some of which is very partial and comes from its own political avenues, is really important. In broadcasting terms, it's the law that news broadcasters have to be impartial, not just the BBC, but all of them. So that's deeply rooted in our culture.